Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It is me, Mysterious Cameraman, and today we are talking about the Hood of the Green Arrow. So this is I'd consider this a pretty old fan film. What's this, like 5, 6, 7 years ago old? Look, I'll say that's a pretty old fan film. I know the last time that I said that a fan film was old was 2 years ago when I said Darth Maul Apprentice was old. That was like 5, 6 years old at the point, and I got ripped apart in the comments for that. So I'm not going to say this fan film's old, but it's had a few years to grow. And they recently released a director's cut, and that's specifically what I'm reviewing today. And yeah, I'm going to really just jump right into this review. This was the first, actually, do want to talk about this first. This was the first fan film submitted through the Fan Film Finder. What this is a very simple Google form that's going to start appearing in the descriptions of every single video upcoming. Every single video ever from now on. Basically, it's a Google form. It's literally like 2 questions. It's like, what fan film is it, and link to it, please. And I'm going to get an email to it when you submit the form, and eventually I might review it. So that's the easiest way for me to get it, because I sometimes don't get comments that you guys send. I've heard that sometimes, like I've actually experienced times that people have been like, oh, I commented this, and I haven't gotten the comments. And plus, this goes right to my email, so I get it easier. So yeah, check out that if you have any fan films you want me to check out. And besides that, let's jump right into this thing. So, I did not expect so much coming into this. I will say, it's part of the Crimsonverse, and I just came out of watching Flash Season 3, Episode 2, like 2 hours ago. So, it's not like, that's like fresh in my mind. And I really liked Green Arrow in that. I will say, compared to that, this feels like a little bit of a downgrade. I'm not saying this is bad, but I feel like Green Arrow had a presence in the Flash show. And I said that. I said in the first episode, I felt like he was overpowering Barry. But I feel like in this, which was something interesting, was the fact that every character besides Dinah was played by Green Arrow. I think, at least. I could be wrong. I believe maybe there was a stunt double for Komodo, but I'm not fully sure. But I feel like the presence, what I feel like I noticed right away, and I feel like I noticed it throughout the whole thing, was that Oliver, the actor of Oliver, is very good at acting with other people. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's just that style of film, like just setting the camera up in front of you and just talking. And like being 2 characters, like the Flash fan series season 1 and 2 did it. I wasn't a fan of it there, so maybe it's like a thing of mine that I don't like. But I feel like maybe I just like seeing actors like work with each other. I don't know, but like I feel like compared to what we see then and how matured Oliver feels, this feels very different. I will say, I didn't hate this by any means, though. I still very much enjoyed a lot of what this fan film did. I did like the Leah and you kind of things at the beginning with the running through the park, I guess. I did enjoy that. And I will say, actually, I'll get up to that later. But even past that, I will say, the black and white aesthetic, though not my favorite, I understand the choice of it. And it's also not, like, just black and white. It's, like, muddled. So I do respect that being the choice that they made. Because if they kind of just, like, half did it, I feel like the fan film would have suffered. But following that, I actually did enjoy a lot of what the fan film began with. I liked the Vertigo stuff. I did like the other character. The curly-haired version of Oliver, I guess. I'm blanking on the name right now, but I did like that, and I did like the idea of the Vertigo. I feel like that's, like, the easy thing. That's, like, a pretty common thing. Everyone knows Vertigo if you've seen Arrow. So I do like that they went with that. They didn't try to do something crazy. And I do like how Komodo kind of just shows up. Like, I feel like it's kind of like the Prometheus intro, sort of. Not so much, but, like, sort of. Because I feel like he's kind of like a stalker. I like that. Maybe I missed something, but I don't remember fully the motives of Komodo. I think they did mention it. I might just be blanking. I feel like I remember them mentioning them, though. But I feel like Komodo's was an interesting villain. I will say something I did notice was this fan film did not have the strongest pacing, and I felt like it went from scenes of fast-paced fight scenes with a lot of plot to go over, like with Vertigo or Komodo, and then they kind of slowed down to scenes of Oliver in bed. And there were like 4 or 5 scenes of stuff like that. So it just was an odd structure, in my opinion. I won't say it took away from the film, because I didn't feel like that ruined my enjoyment of it. What I will say is I feel like from a critical perspective, the fact that the film was going from like, oh my god, they introduced Komodo, to a very slow scene isn't my favorite thing. And yeah, but I will say something I did find very good was the fight scenes. I will say that I don't fully understand how. I don't know how exactly they're choreographing the fight scenes, obviously. But I will say they're not putting, not just in this show, I want to make it clear, it's also in The Flash. But they do not put the camera in a place that it makes it seem like the punches are, they're not doing the punches out any favors. Like, if there's like a punch that's not hitting the face, they're gonna get a dead-on shot of showing, like, full-on, like, presenting on a pedestal the punch not hitting. Like, something that I learned, at least from my choreography, was to kind of, like, hide, if a punch wasn't gonna hit, then to, like, do the camera angle sort of so it either A, looked like it hit, or there was less room to show that it didn't hit. And so I did notice that. I did notice the fake punches, but people do grow out of that, I will say. I did notice it also in Season 3, Episode 1, The Flash, but I do hope in Nude on Fades, which is the film coming out in October, that it really does grow out of it. But besides from some of the punches, overall, I actually felt like the choreography was actually very well done in this. I felt like there were some moves that felt not just practice, but felt Green Arrow. Like, I remember Komodo went over with the bow, and then, like, Green Arrow kind of, like, half slid under it and then shot the bow. Like, that felt Green Arrow. And I also did like the use of the bows. I feel like there were times that the bow was used well, and maybe not always. I feel like they were, most of the time, actually timed very well. So I don't know, I just felt like a lot of the bow choreography was done well. And even though I don't think the camera was necessarily doing the choreography any favors, I think the choreography itself wasn't actually that bad. I felt the fight scenes actually felt like fight scenes, which is something I have critiqued the Flash fan series on. I felt like the fights in that were very quick most of the time. But I felt like this fan film, these fights in this were drawn out. Not too drawn out, but drawn out. And I also did like a lot of the characters in this. I feel like the many personas of the same character, of the same actor, you notice it. But I don't feel like it necessarily takes away from it. I do like the tech dude side character. I'm blanking on the name. I do feel like he's good for the plot. He's like the guy in the chair. I do think it works, but they didn't do so much with him. Like, I feel like they were trying to do a lot, and they didn't accomplish everything they were trying to do. But this fan film, what I will say, it was more, it tried to tell more stories than it could in 19 minutes. And I think that's the big critique I have. If I had to give like one critique, it would be that this fan film tries to do too much in too short of time. And I've struggled with pacing issues myself too. But I feel that sometimes the pacing didn't always fit the length of the story. And I just didn't feel like it didn't feel like it was always trying to fit. And you notice you as a person will always notice when that happens. Because when it's going from such a fast-paced scene to a slow scene, and many slow scenes put together, especially in that middle part, it didn't feel like it fit properly in the episode. But, in the film, I should say. But once the episode, I'd say, came to a close, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy everything that came before. But I actually did enjoy a lot of it. What I will say is I'm very excited to see what they do next with Nude on Fades. Because it's been 5, 6, 7 years. Clearly, in the Flash fan series, they've not just grown as an actor, but grown with their cinematography skills. And if they are getting Ethan Tope and Liam Head and the other people to cinematographize this, I think he could really grow. Because at the end of the day, the majority of the critiques I'm giving for this are the same critiques I was giving for the Flash fan series 1 and 2. The very straightforward camera things, the one person in a scene, and that's it, scenes, like, it felt like someone was like, let's film a fan film. Not just for this, but also for the Flash fan series, season 1 and 2. Like, let's film a fan film with just me, with, like, shots, like, back and forth. Like, what I feel like makes season 3 so good for me, personally, is the fact that there's character interaction. And I do hope that in New Dawn Fades, there are at least a few other characters that Oliver has, so Oliver can feel like he's in a real environment. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I enjoyed this fan film personally a lot. I know I ripped into this, but I do feel like sometimes when I have critiques, I really go into those critiques. But, oh my god, 6 points. How did I forget that? 6 points. Directing. I will say the directing was definitely a little below the normal level, but that was also the same with the Flash fan series season 1. So I'm not going to be like, it was terrible. But the cinematography does have room to improve, and this definitely wasn't a fan film for cinematography. Editing was fine, I thought. I did like the new types of editing. I didn't love it, but I did like it. But there could have... Actually, I'll get to that point. That's not even the point. Acting in this was fine. I did like the acting, even though there wasn't much acting between two people. I did feel like the acting that was going on was good. Story I spoke about in length already. Choreography was good. I think the choreography was honestly the standout of this film. And the music, there could have been more. I will say there was very little music, and when the music came, it felt very halted. Like, it felt... Yeah, I feel like sometimes what happens with these fan films is they don't realize how to edit the audio so it fades in and fades out. So it's not like da-da-da-da, and then it just ends like halfway in the middle of the song. But I've seen it in so many fan films at this point, like, I can't even complain. But yeah, besides that, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.